Hello my friends, my name is Mo and today I'm going to be talking about JoJo Siwa. But first of all, I'm going to be talking about myself. So if you're not interested in hearing about me, you can skip to this timestamp here. But if you are interested, stick around. So first of all, before I get into this video, I just wanted to say a big thank you for 70k. That is a lot. I can't really comprehend it and I'm quite overwhelmed, if I'm honest. Thank you so much for such a positive reception on my last video. That really means a lot. That really means a lot. I put in so much effort. That video took months to create. Thank you is all I can say. Thank you. Another thing I just wanted to say, you might have noticed, but every time I film a video I seem to be in a different location. That is because I've been moving a lot. My life has been really intense and really difficult, if I'm honest. I've lived in 5 different places in the past 3 months, and next month I'm going to be moving again. Right now I'm sort of flatting / couch surfing. I don't have a bedroom, I'm sleeping on the couch. And I'm not complaining because I would have nowhere else to go otherwise, and I'm staying with some really lovely mates of mine who I love to pieces, but it's very stressful. I've recently started summer school for art school and that's really stressful too. So if I'm not uploading as frequently, please be patient with me because I'm trying my best. My part 2 for the Calvin Garrett video, I don't know when that's going to be up, but it probably will be a little while before I'm able to post that. We'll see what happens. That's enough about me, who cares about my life? Anyway. By the way, if you hear funny construction noises in the background, I'm so sorry. I'm currently living right opposite a big construction site. I can't do anything about it. So without further ado, let's get on to the subject of this video, which is JoJo Siwa. Now I'm assuming that the majority of you will know who JoJo Siwa is, but just in case you don't, allow me to introduce her. JoJo Siwa is an American dancer, singer, actor, and YouTube personality. She is well known for appearing in 2 seasons of Dance Moms and for her singles Boomerang and Kid in a Candy Store. JoJo Siwa is also just 17 years old, so already she's probably more successful than you and I will ever be in our entire lives. But that's just a side note. Also, just a disclaimer, I got my mate Brennan Beckwith to send over some notes for this video because he's a 22-year-old JoJo stan apparently. But not all these ideas are mine, so full credit to him there. I'll link his channel in the description. I highly recommend you go check him out. Not literally, but like, nobody went there. I was the only one who went there. But anyway, now that I've given you a little rundown of who JoJo Siwa is, you're probably wondering why I'm making this video. Or not, because the title probably tells you. The reason I'm talking about JoJo Siwa is because she recently came out as LGBT. And I think that's wonderful. I think that's amazing. The way that she came out was really sweet and really cute and appropriate for the type of audience she has. You know, her audience is very young, and that is something that's important to keep in mind. And the way she came out showed that she was very mindful of this. First of all, she posted a video of herself on TikTok lip-syncing to Lady Gaga's queer anthem, Born This Way, while wearing rainbow-themed bows and a similar hoodie. And then a day later, she posted this photo to Twitter. The positive impact that celebrities like JoJo Siwa coming out will have is unfathomable. Especially somebody like JoJo Siwa, who's 17 and has a young audience. Kids don't get to see LGBT representation very much because our identities are heavily stigmatized. They're seen as weird, abnormal, and sexual. And our identities are not inherently sexual, and it's so damaging to portray them as such. I hope that JoJo proves to the people that over-sexualize and fetishize LGBT identities that queerness is not always sexual. It can just be a part of your identity, a part of who you are. And I think she's going to help so many young LGBT kids who are just coming into their identity. She's going to make them feel like it's okay for them to be the way they are, and of course it's okay for them to be the way they are, but For so many of us, we don't feel like it is. We feel like we're wrong in some way, like our existence is somehow wrong and that we're bad for feeling the way that we do. It's really difficult growing up and not having that representation because you feel so lost and alone and you feel like you're the only person experiencing these feelings. Despite the fact that JoJo is just a child, she has been viciously bullied and harassed throughout her time as a celebrity because of the way she presents herself. But throughout this time, she's still continued to be herself and present herself the way she wants to. Unfortunately, society kinda hates teenage girls. Anything that teenage girls like, everyone else will hate. Often simply because teenage girls like it. Society will tear apart anything that young girls are interested in, especially if it detracts them from engaging with men. There's a really good video from Lindsay Alice about Twilight that kind of touches upon this. This visceral hatred that people, grown men in particular, seem to feel towards JoJo Siwa is very similar. It's just because she's a young girl expressing herself in a way that she feels comfortable and they find that cringy. Can we just kill cringe culture already? Because it's not helping anybody. In fact, it's doing the antithesis. It encourages people to go out there and target and harass others for the way they present themselves. Just because you don't like the way somebody expresses their identity to the outside world doesn't mean you have the right to harass them and laugh at them because of it. I think that's a really cruel thing to do. And I think it says more about you than the person you're making fun of. Because is your own identity so fragile that you get joy from making fun of others? If so, I think that's something that you need to work on, rather than JoJo or anybody else for that matter. People tell her to act her age, but she's only 17. And this has been going on for years. I can remember it happening when she was, 14, 15? Which is a little bit sinister if you really think about it. The entertainment industry really does demand that young women grow up quickly, which is basically just a nicer way of saying sexualize themselves and appeal to men. I mean, we only need to look at the way people have treated Millie Bobby Brown to see examples of this. And it's sad. I feel so sorry for young women who have to grow up in this kind of environment. Something else that I think is quite positive is that JoJo Siwa is signed to Nickelodeon, and so they must know about all this and still support it. This means that big companies are no longer seeing LGBT identities as something taboo. It means they are becoming more marketable. Now, regardless of how you feel about big corporations, the fact that our identities are no longer being seen as unmarketable is a good thing, because it means that our identities are becoming more accepted by society. And it means that we're more likely to have representation on the big screen. Because often hatred, bigotry, prejudice, or whatever, often it just comes from a lack of knowledge, a lack of education, ignorance. If we have our identities represented on the mainstream, people will be able to see us. We'll no longer be the boogeyman under the bed. We're just people, just normal people who happen to feel or express our identities a little bit differently than your average person. But now that I've touched upon the positives, there are a couple of other things that I want to address. The first thing is JoJo hasn't put a label on her identity, and I think it's important that we respect that.
What label are you? I have thought about this, and the reason why I'm not ready to say this answer is because I don't really know this answer. I want to share everything with the world, I really do, but I also want to keep things in my life private until they're ready to be public.
She's made it very clear that she doesn't want to go into it too much. She does have a very young audience, and putting a label on things can sometimes box you into a corner when identity is fluid and we're discovering new things about ourselves every day. Celebrities are still people, and they do deserve to have a personal life. They deserve their privacy. I don't want to log on and see people speculating about a 17-year-old's sexuality. She's told you what she's comfortable telling you, and you should respect that. There is one other thing I want to discuss too. I think for the most part, JoJo's been amazing with the way she's talked about her identity. She's been so positive and uplifting, and that's beautiful. But there was something she said on this IGTV video on Instagram that did concern me. She said she wanted people to know that coming out isn't scary anymore. Do you see the problem here?
I think coming out has this stigma around it that it's a really, really, really scary thing, but it's not anymore. There's so many accepting and loving people out there that it's okay.
I think that, unfortunately, her statement is coming from a position of extreme privilege. It's important to remember that while the overwhelming acceptance of JoJo will make coming out easier for some young people, coming out is still an incredibly scary and daunting experience for some. I'm not saying this to trash JoJo, she was just trying to be positive and she said this off the cuff. But I think it's important to remember that for many, coming out is not easy and it's very scary. And sadly, it's actually not that helpful to be putting out a message like that. But anyway, those are my main thoughts on the situation. Overall, I think it's an incredibly positive thing. And weirdly enough, I think JoJo's kind of a legend. Never thought I'd say that, but I think she is. I think her ability to just be herself, despite what everyone else thinks, is just inspiring, kind of. Yeah, honestly inspiring, and I respect that. I respect someone who can just continue to be themselves, even when so many people are trying to tear them down. I think that does show a strength of character in JoJo that's really underappreciated. But yeah, I think I've kind of touched upon everything I wanted to touch on in this video. I hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry it wasn't quite so structured as usual. I'm so busy and my content might have to be a little bit more like this for the time being, but hopefully at some point I can get back into doing, the long form scripted content, which is what I love to do. But for the time being, you'll have to put up with this. But yeah, that's me done. If you want to subscribe, feel free, that'd be really nice. Help support the channel. You can also pledge to my Patreon or send me money on PayPal if you're feeling extra generous. You can help me pay for my medical bills. You can find me on social media. I'm Cops Hate Mo on everything. But yeah, I hope you have a lovely day. Stay safe, and I'll see ya. It's making thousands of people feel... Shut up, come on, construction workers, please. I wanna cry. It's fine.